So if you're a musician who's a little bit like me, then at some point in your career, you probably came to terms with the fact that you had to start practicing with a metronome because your timing sucked, right? Yeah, I accepted that whole thing years ago, maybe even more than a decade ago, and I diligently started practicing with a metronome. But what I found out in the years after starting doing that is that, in a way, practicing with a metronome to improve your timing is not the complete thing. You have to do other stuff. Practicing with a metronome is the tip of the iceberg, and at some point you have to go much deeper than that to truly improve your timing to a degree that you're actually grooving and that the groove actually comes from within, stuff like that. So I'm very pleased to introduce you guys to this app that I found by master drummer Benny Greb called Gap Click. It's a great app, and it really opens up all of those deeper, more complex exercises that you have to do at some point if you want to take your timing and your grooves to the next level. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to show you how I've been using this app, hopefully inspire you to start using it as well and become a true time master. Let's go. On the quest for groove. So the thing that has to happen for you to start moving beyond regular metronome practice is that you have to start developing a sense of time that comes from within you, your own inner clock. And there's lots of ways to do this, lots of exercises, and this app, the Gap Click app, actually can really help you get those exercises up and running in no time. So contrary to what the name might imply, this app doesn't just click and then leave gaps. It can do a lot more than that. And I'm going to go walk you through all the stuff that it can do. So bear with me. I'm going to start with the gaps and the clicks, and then we're going to go do some other cool stuff. So here we go. Now let's start out by just leaving a gap, and we can do that really easily. We set 2 bars of clicks, quarter notes, and then 1 bar of rests of our little gap. 60 BPM. Let's just listen to what that sounds like. Click, click, tick, 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 and tick, 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 tick. And this is something you can just do for yourself, right? You don't need anything. You do not even have to drum on anything. If you just say tick, 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 or click, 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 or you snap your fingers wherever you are with the earbuds in and this app, you're automatically training yourself to sort of keep time even when the click falls away. So this is a really great start, and you can make this as crazy as you want. You can also leave 2 bars of gaps, right? Let's see what that sounds like. I don't know if I can do this actually. Let's see. Tick, 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 tick. Let's play a beat. Okay, see, that works, right? And obviously a big gap like that, 2 bars, I've practiced this a lot already and I still sometimes mess it up. That's normal. It's just really great to challenge yourself this way, see what happens if that click falls away, and if you sort of already developed your inner clock to an extent that, you know, you can sort of keep things going. And if not, if you notice that the click comes in at an unexpected moment, you can probably deduce if you were going too fast or too slow. And that's a learning moment, right? You might feel like this is an impossible exercise, but if you do this for a prolonged period of time, making it harder and harder, you're going to sort of intuitively start to understand better how you should play things and what's too fast and what's too slow. Whereas if you would always just have that metronome going, you're basically always peeking over to the other side to see if you're in time, where it should come from within. And this is the first step to take. But with that said, this is not the coolest feature of this app. The coolest thing is when you fill the gap with displaced metronome hits. So for example, if you put this thing at an 8th note over here, we now have 2 bars of clicks and then 2 bars of the metronome on the afterbeat. That sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beat 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and notice how that after beat hi-hat all of a sudden syncs up with the click, right? Click, 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 click. That's a really great exercise. It's also really good because you are now forced to put that heavy kick drum hit on the 1 and the 3, and you're no longer together with the metronome. So the power and the force has to truly come from within. Boom, boom, click, boom, click, boom, click, boom, click. You're the one making those heavy accents instead of the click. That works really, really well. And now we can take things even further and move the click to the last 16th note of every count. This is some super pro stuff, and it sounds like this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Beat. Right? And this is super, super hard, but it's a great exercise. It really forces you to truly understand where those kick drums right before the 1 and the 3 fall, right? Where does that kick drum happen in relation to time, right? This type of stuff really helps you to truly start feeling that. The most difficult displacement, I think, is the one where you go to the first 16th note after every count. That's insane. I've practiced this a lot and I still sort of fall off the wagon quite regularly, but let me just try and give you a little sneak peek into that. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try again. This is hard for everybody. Okay, one more time. All right, yeah. So that last one, you notice I really started to get into the flow, and that's obviously what you got to do with this app. You don't do this for 2 bars like I'm doing now. You're turning this on for 10 minutes and you switch between those click placements and you try and get as locked in with both clicks as you possibly can. And by locking in with the click, I don't mean not getting lost. I mean, that's step number 1. That's super hard to not get lost. But after you're not getting lost, you also really want to focus on that click and sort of see it as some dude playing percussion who is very stubborn and just has these wood blocks. And you're really trying to lock in with each other. So you don't just want to play and then be glad that you made it to the finish line. You really want to hear boom clicks, ka clicks, boom clicks, ba clicks, boom clicks, ba clicks, right? There's some sort of an interaction between your kick, your hi-hat, your snare, and that click that comes in between those hits. It has to fit. It has to fit in really well. And if you focus on that really, really hard, and that's the magic that's gonna make all your grooves come together over a prolonged period of practice. Yeah, and just to blow your mind a little bit, here's another great example of what I just described in the form of an exercise that you can do anywhere. It's super challenging. It's something that I've been doing over the past couple of months, and it really, really helped me to improve my sense of time. What you basically do is you snap a Latin salsa type clave with your fingers, then you turn on the app, and then you really try and make your snaps and those displaced clicks dance together. Let me show you what I mean. So 3, 4, clave, right? This is so hard. Ah. If you're doing this type of stuff, especially if you're doing those displaced 16th notes or maybe triplets, we're not really getting into that right now, but you can also set triplets for swing grooves and shuffle grooves, right? But if you're doing all of that, I can highly recommend you playing at lower tempos. So I set this to 60 BPM for a reason. That's because a displaced 16th note hit at 120 BPM is so little time that it gets really, really hard to clearly hear where those hits are placed. If you go to 60 BPM or maybe even a little slower, you can clearly hear where they should come, like boom clicked, da clicked, boom clicked, ba click, right? And if you go faster than that, it becomes a bit of a blur, and you want to train your brain to be very, very accurate in where those clicks are placed and how you should play around those clicks. And therefore the slower tempos are super essential. In a way, it might seem that it makes things harder, but it's not. It makes things easier. It's just super hard to play at slow tempos, but as soon as you can do that and you speed things up, whoa, you're going to feel how much your grooves came together all of a sudden, also on the higher tempos. So here's another video you might like. I hope to see you again soon for another one, another tip. Check out questforgroove.com for lessons, courses, and everything related to finger drumming and grooving and improving your timing as a musician. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye.